Everybody, Jason here. Hope you guys are having a great hump day so far. So yesterday, I think we ended up the day 8 or 9,000 ish or so, and we're starting up a couple thousand today. So everything's looking pretty good. Today, I did a few things. Closed out the butterfly that was down in the 630s. I think I walked away. I gave up $5 for each one. So lost $10 on those plays, but I still have my condor and my second butterfly open. So this this condor and this butterfly, and we'll just wait for those to decay a little bit. The Netflix, so that was something we looked at yesterday, just towards the end of the day. Let's see, what can we find our Netflix? Okay, so I ended up closing out the top side of the Netflix play, but let's check out the options. So just kind of expanding on yesterday when we were looking at that expected move yesterday, and you can see because there was earnings, that expected move was about $15-16. Now we're just not even a full day later, like a half a day later, since that catalyst, that event is gotten out of the way. Now you can see what the expected move is now $5 or $6. And again, we look somewhere closest strike price, closest date on expiration, and we can look at the puts, or we can look at the calls. Oh, those didn't update. Now they updated. So you can see now it's way less expected move. Even though we do have a little bit less time, but if it expected to move $16 yesterday, it only makes sense that if it wasn't because of earnings, that we would still expect like a $10-11 move. So what I did, I closed out just the top side. This had 580 on the call side. So I went and closed that out since Netflix was pretty down. Overall on the Condor, I collected 190 and I paid 25 cents a piece to close the top side. We moved down $20, a little bit more than the expected move. So if somebody did buy the puts, they would actually be profitable at this point. But since we had this downside, and I'm expecting a little bit of recovery here, but who knows? And I surely don't expect 480, but I'd wait for this to bounce back a little bit, and then I'll go ahead and close that bottom side. You can close iron condors, doesn't matter, a leg at a time if you have the collateral for what you're holding, or the calls and put sides all together, and you'll just have that same collateral until you close both sides out sitting there. So we still have $1,000 collateral. And you can see our total return of negative $90 on this play, but we closed out the call side for, I guess that would have been, what is this guy at? Would be, basically $100 credit on the top side. So other than that, I did close out 2 of my 3 TLT puts that I had bought, just to make these guys free. So I'm still holding one of those. Collected $100 to close the other 2. I guess it's not free. I'm still into it. $8 or something like that is basically what I paid for this now. Was selling the other 2, holding tons of put credit spreads as usual. Our Amazon is looking better since Amazon has recovered a little bit from this little low area, and Bezos did ride his ding dong to space. So I don't really know why that would affect Amazon stock, but that's what I was reading this morning. And I think that's about it. Still holding on to a calendar here, and waiting for Tesla to shake out, see what it does towards the end of the week. I also am thinking about this Friday right before earnings, I am going to likely close out anything, probably within $50 of the money. So on, let's see, where were they? So these guys, these 650s, I will probably just go ahead and close these out, or essentially roll them down, which will be, it'll look like I pretty much lost, but I have $230 some credit from when I opened these. So I'll probably move them to a much lower strike price, like actually $100 farther out of the money. And just so they're safe for earnings. I don't want to deal with any surprise downside, even though I'm feeling pretty good to the upside based on production, deliveries, and some pretty cool announcements that I think are going to come up, but not worth having. What is this? Like this one, we have $4,500 at risk, and on the 650s, we have $11,000 at risk here. But things like the 555s, 545s, I'll go ahead and keep those. This guy I'll write out for probably about another 2/3 of credit. We have our SPY put credit spreads that are getting a little bit closer. So we've had this crazy bounce back up. So just holding on to those guys, and we're almost back to break even on most of our SPY put credit spreads. Oh, and I did open up an iron condor. So this was based on the expected move, and I went, actually went out 3x the expected moves just for earnings. So this should come down quite a bit in premium coming Monday, right? Because that's our big event is going to be earnings. And other than that, not doing much, waiting for things to settle out. Palantir, it looks like it's recovering pretty okay. And so like on all these guys, just since all the underlyings were down quite a bit, I want to wait for a little bit of recovery before I start selling premium on them again, because I don't like where it's at. It's going to be like midway in the recovery, to where if I'd sell premium on them now and they continue to recover pretty well, then I could just lose out on the shares. And most of them I'm overall pretty bullish on, or have the leaps associated with them. So just and the premium that I can get at the point where I'm not putting the leaps at risk, or I'm entering a position to where if they got called away from me, it would be a loss. None of that really makes sense right now. So, all right. Well, I think that is about it for today. Let's see if there's anything else interesting going on in the portfolio. No, not really. We just have a lot of time. We have a lot of time to wait over the next couple weeks. A lot of earnings coming out. I think I will actually just start looking at the earnings calendar and probably playing a lot of iron condors 3x out of 3x the expected move. And that is about it for me today. So love you guys. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and make lots of money.